growing up, like I've always been a bigger girl and like didn't fit the mold and stuff. And there was really nobody for me to look up to as a kid to be like, oh, well, that woman is, my size, looks like me, and she's an athlete, or she's, she's doing great things.
What's up, everybody? And welcome to a very special episode of the On the Runs podcast. So since Eric didn't watch much of them, I am here with a very special guest today, one of our favorite pod fam members, to help recap some of the most memorable moments of the 2024 Summer Olympics that took place in beautiful Paris, France. So let's welcome the one and only Tara Pterodactyl to the pod once again. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, hold your applause till the end.
Oh, I'm going to give it to you right now. How's that?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
How you been, Tara? It's been, I don't know. We talked the last time you were here at my house for our foundation. So I haven't seen you for most of the summer, but luckily we have our group chat. But how's your summer been?
Yeah, summer's been good. It's been crazy, like usual. I say it every single year. It's like May comes and then all of a sudden it's Labor Day. So
basically, yeah.
And here we are, Labor Day is in 2 weeks. So
oh my God, when you put it that way.
I know, right?
It's freaking crazy.
I just feel like I do so much more in the summer than I do in the winter. So it's just like, I don't know, speed. So
definitely.
I've been keeping up with you and following you and all your 100-milers and stuff as I'm over here struggling to get through 5.
Well, I'm alive except for like whatever's going on with my voice. So I'm trying to keep it together. And yeah, this summer has flown by, definitely. I think that it has gone by faster with the Olympics because I've felt like I had a regimen every night when I got home from work. I would like check out all of the recaps that they had. I got to shout out, like no free ads, but I got to shout out Peacock for this one because they made it so easy to check out all of these recaps, and they broke it down by sport so I could see what was live. I could check out sports I'd never think to watch before. It was super cool. So yeah, that was basically the last 2 weeks of my life, was just sitting on the couch watching people be athletic.
Yeah, so this is where you and I are different. So I work from home and my TV was on from like the morning all day long. I was working, but I knew I would go on to the NBC app and I would search by the sports because I had my favorite sports. Nice. And I knew I had like a note on my desk of when every event was. So I would take my breaks and I'd go in. You were
way more organized than me. I was like channel surfing. I'm like, this sounds good right now.
Yeah. And so the thing with me, like just like TV shows, like with social media, there was all the spoilers. And I'm like, I don't want to rewatch it when I already know what the result is. Although there were a couple that I did rewatch just because people were like, you got it. You're not going to believe this finish, especially a lot of the track and field stuff. So,
seriously. Yeah.
But I watched most of it live, which was awesome. And there were times where I thought I injured myself watching the Olympics because I would like jump up off the couch and I was like, yeah. And I'm like screaming and my dogs are looking at me like, okay, crazy lady. But it
really makes you feel like you're there though. Like you get so caught up on the hype. It's so awesome.
It was so cool. And I've always been like a fan of the Olympics, but this Olympics, I was just like dialed in. And I was so involved with this Olympics more than any in the past. And that's including Winter Olympics and stuff. And I think maybe the 2020 Olympics happened in 2021 because of COVID. Yes. And it was just like, I don't know, I didn't get the hype and they had no fans or anything. So that was like one of the big things that the athletes were talking about is that they were like, we haven't had fans in 8 years. So, but I'm like, I can't imagine like,
to think about.
Yeah. Can you imagine like competing in some of these events in silence?
No.
When it's like watching it this year and like even what's her name? Tara, the triple jumper.
Tara Davis Woodhull.
Yes. So she's big, they're like, come on, everyone's, and it's like, I can't imagine just being there by yourself and just being like, all right.
You're hyping up a cameraman and that's it.
Yeah, right.
Come on, give me something.
Yeah. So a lot of athletes were talking about how it was a lot more special this year because the fans were there and it was kind of back to normal. So, but
I didn't even think about that aspect of it, how it affected the athletes, like just having that kind of hype. Like, when you run a big race, you have the crowds cheering you on. It definitely gives you that extra motivation to do your best and keep going. And that absolutely does it for the athletes.
Right. That's what I always tell everybody who asks me that has never run a marathon before. They give me, what's your biggest piece of advice? And I was like, go big. I'm like, if this is your first marathon, try to run a big one, because the last thing you want to be is at like mile 18, 19, 20, and you hit the wall and all you're looking at is trees.
And you're alone. You're probably alone out there. So
I'm like, you run one of the majors, or, you know, another one that's not considered a major, or like, you know, Marine Corps or something. It's like, there's people everywhere, and it definitely helps.
So I don't know what it is this year. I got caught up in the hype because, like you said, the previous 2021 Olympics, I really didn't get into it either. And I think it just is because it was more accessible for me to watch. It was just so easy. It was right there on my TV, like at my fingertips whenever I wanted it. So I'm glad that they had it available like that.
Yeah,
I got to check out some sports I definitely never would have. So
yeah,
that
it was also great too that their like prime time with the time change, it was 1 in the afternoon. So, you know, like a lot of these like events that they have, like the Super Bowl is on at like 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. It's like, who's going to stay up for that? But like 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Jam.
Especially when you have like your 6 p.m. bedtime, your 4 a.m. wake up.
Love it.
No, that definitely helped. Yeah. Should we dive right into... So
no pun intended.
You nerd.
Swimming in the pool.
I freaking love it. Or the sin. I don't think so. I'm gonna skip that one.
Oh God, no.
But
E. coli.
Speaking of the sin, the opening ceremony. So
yes.
It's so funny. I was really drawn to this opening ceremony for the fact that it was different than all the other ones. And so many people I've heard, I say heard, I'm talking about like Facebook comments. They're like, oh, it was different. I didn't like how it was. I'm going to boycott the Olympics. I just can't understand how they got so butthurt over it.
Right.
Like, it was very artistic. It was very French. So that's how I interpreted it. I thought it was kind of cool. I really liked how they kind of paraded the athletes out on the boats. Like, that was just a very unique thing instead of just watching them march into the stadium.
Yes, I agree.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was very unique. And again, I want to say, like, I've always watched the Olympics, but not as thorough as I did this year. But I had the opening ceremony on. I think it was like a 5-hour ceremony.
It was so long.
There's
so many countries. It was funny. I was like, I don't even recognize half of these. Like, I'm terrible at geography anyways, but I was like, never heard of this country.
I did the same thing. It was like the second boat in, and I'd never heard of it, and I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be a long ceremony."
I know, right?
I'm googling it, and I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay. But it was cool. Like, you know, I'm like, where'd they get all these boats? Number one. But I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. And, you know, the controversy of the people are no one's going to be happy. Not everybody's going to be happy. But it's like, you got to research it first before you post about it. Like, you know, it was about the French culture and all that. And like, of course, people were like, oh, I'm boycotting the Olympics. And I'm like, whatever. Like,
and a lot of the stuff that they thought was like making fun of like Christianity and whatnot was really like Greek culture from like,
right,
way back in the day. So like they can't even really say that they're stealing it from them.
Right. And that just goes to social media and the internet. Somebody posts something that is completely untrue, and then it gets shared a million times, and everyone's like, they read that, and it's like, no, that's wrong. So, but I will have to say there was 2 things in that opening ceremony that like brought me to, well, one of them brought me to tears. Like, I was literally crying. But the horse. The horse in the night on the river, I thought that was so majestic. Like, I was glued to the TV, and I was like, I could watch this for hours. Like, it was just so cool. I loved that. And then at the end with Celine, I bawled just knowing her story and everything she's been through. And she literally, like, she gave her all to that. And I was literally crying. And I'm like, day one, tears. This is how this is going to go. I
literally wrote down on my notes, Celine Dion singing on the Eiffel Tower was magical. There's no other word for it.
It really was. Like, I have goosebumps talking about it right now.
Oh my gosh.
It was just, you know, if anybody knows, like, with all of her health struggles and everything, and, you know, she's an icon to begin with.
Absolutely.
And it was some of the people that were there, like, I know you weren't a huge fan of Lady Gaga, but I liked the performance. I'm not like a big fan of hers to begin with, but I thought the performance was kind of unique. And then like all those dancers that were on the side of the river, and
that looked very tricky, especially in the rain. I was waiting for somebody to just take a tumble down the stairs. I'm like, oh no, this is dangerous.
Yeah, man down in the sand. But like so much choreography, and like it'd be interesting to see like how much that cost to put on.
Right.
Like probably millions of dollars. Like it was just I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the masked man who was maybe a man, I don't know who it was, but the masked person carrying the torch, and they were friggin' doing parkour like all over the French buildings, and the whole time he would be jumping off this and onto that, and I just kept thinking of the Michael Scott like parkour. Parkour. That was the only thing I kept thinking of. But I think we were talking to Patrick Lieber, and he was like, I found my new Halloween costume, and I was like, this is like a gold mine for that kind of stuff, right? So go for it.
Yeah there was I forget who it was it the song, was it Imagine All the People, maybe? I don't know who, it's escaping me, but they were on like a little raft in the river, and it was at night, and it was raining. Yeah, and it was just beautiful, and I was like, I don't even know who these people are, but this is so beautiful. Like it was just, you know, even though they had bad weather, like they made the best of it, and I think it like kind of made it even more, you know, the rain added to like the atmosphere of the whole thing, and like the lights and the darkness, and it was just
definitely made for the experience, I would say.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. I'm not a hater. So.
Oh, neither am I. So as much as I am not like a metal fan, I really liked that. Was it Catherine the Great? Like they were doing like the,
oh yeah.
Do you remember the big building and all the the heavy metal and the red and the headless ladies? Like I think it's Catherine the Great. I don't even. History is not my strong suit either. So you guys are finding out all my flaws today. But yeah, the theatrics and the production value for that opening ceremony was, I think it was top notch. I have no notes for me.
Yeah. The other cool thing was, I followed the Olympics. It was like NBC Olympics, I think, on Instagram. They did a great job with pictures, and it was really cool to see all the different athletes, like different sports. Like there was pictures of, you know, I don't know, like Katie Ledecky with like LeBron James, you know, like people that probably may have never met before, but like two of the greatest at their sports.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see like the top of the game with, you know, other athletes and stuff. And like, it's just, you know, how cool of an environment to be surrounded by the best in the world, you know, and it's like of your sport. It's wicked awesome. Cool. So I love looking at all the cool pictures. People. Yeah.
I just picture, I could see one with Simone Biles standing next to literally anyone. And she's like, right, and they're up here. So.
I know. She's so tiny. That's crazy. Adorable. That's probably why she is so good at what she does, because she's so compact and she can 100%. Get so much air.
She's fantastic.
Yeah. Right.
Speaking of getting air, let's, shall we move into some of our favorite events? Because man, I know were there like 30 something different events? I don't even know.
I don't know either.
Way more than I can name. And I was glued to most of them. That's for sure. But
yeah,
my personal favorites to watch, I got sucked into the women's rugby sevens.
Oh yeah.
Never before have I really watched rugby before, but those women are animals. They go hard.
Yes. I love it. And I think it was right before the Olympics started. I'm going to butcher. Is it, how do you say her name? Ilana?
Alana. I'm going to call her Alana because I think she's fantastic.
So she started showing up in my feed for Instagram. And then I was like, just started watching her videos, and I was like, this girl's really cool. And she's from Vermont. So I was like,
oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was like a New Englander. And I just loved everything about her, like her vibe and everything. And I know we'll talk about some notable people at the Olympics, but for me personally, growing up, like I've always been a bigger girl and like didn't fit the mold and stuff. And there was really nobody for me to look up to as a kid to be like, oh, well, that woman is, you know, my size, looks like me, and she's an athlete, or she's, you know, she's doing great things. It was always, you know, you got to be the cookie cutter, you got to be skinny, you got to look like this or something. But she really, her, and I know I'm jumping the gun, but Chase,
go for it.
The shot put girl, like big girls. They're both big girls, and they were totally clapping back at the haters online. I love it because someone said something about Ilana about being obese. And so she posted a video back being like, well, according to the BMI, yes, I am obese, blah, blah, blah. And then she ended it and she was like, well, have a great day. I'm hopping on a plane to Paris because I'm an Olympian. I was like, yes, girl. Yes.
Yep. Shut him down.
Yeah. But it's just, like it doesn't matter what your body type is. Like all body types are Olympians. And they even had like one reel that showed 10 different women that were Olympians and they all look different. So
isn't it amazing?
And she's such a great role model for younger girls, like that, don't fit the mold of what magazines tell you that you should look like. So I'm like, we need more of that.
We do.
Loved it.
And I'm kind of sad we didn't have that when we were growing up because I mean, I grew up with my own body issues too. Like I just never felt comfortable. And if we had that, like we grew up with like Teen Beat magazine and like, of course you're getting like the tiny stick figured celebrities. And I feel like athletes were never really showcased in those kind of magazines we used to get as teenagers and stuff.
Right. Exactly.
So like we weren't having the kind of role models we needed at the time. And I love her message. Like she just tells you to take up space. Like you deserve to take up space. Like whatever space it is, you deserve to do it because who's going to tell you otherwise? Like just everything she's about. And her carbs. Like, did you see her with the giant, like, it was like,
I don't know, what was that, a croissant or
croissant?
Yeah.
I'm like, this girl, I'm all about her.
She is so funny too. Like she just did an interview. I think it was on Seth Meyers, late night with Seth Meyers. And oh my God, she was like cracking me up. I was like, I think if you're listening, Ilana, I want to be your bestie. I think we'd get along really well.
She lives so close.
And I really want to play rugby now because I was like, that's the sport I should have played because I am kind of a beast and I could sidearm some chicks and just tell them to sit down while I run you over. Like I miss my calling.
If you get a chance, you should look up. She did a clip with so Keenan and Kevin Hart do like a recap show for the Olympics on Peacock, and I'm sure you can find the clip anywhere. But she was on it, and she was basically like, "Yeah, I just kind of I just want to run him over. I'm like looking to kill him basically, and just keep going." I was like. She knows how to win. She knows
there was
how to
one
win.
game. I'm sure there was more, but she like had the ball and she took off and she literally Heisman'd a girl and the girl like was on the ground and she just scored. And it's
pretty
like
sure that's the
a
clip
real
that they showed.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yes, yes, love that.
Absolutely fantastic.
Love that.
So we'll get into more of the athletes, but let's talk about more of the sports that we watch. So I really got sucked into almost like the weirder stuff. Like we'll talk about track and field later because of course us being runners, like that's where we're drawn to. But I was glued to like the skateboarding competition and the BMX biking competitions because they can do some crazy shit on those bikes and skateboards. It just like defies gravity, makes me want to wear a pair of like knee pads and a helmet in my house because I just feel like I can't even watch them do these tricks without hurting myself. So
those were I mean, I will say I probably tuned into every single sport just to like watch.
Check it out, right? Yeah.
I didn't even know that those were Olympic sports. There was so many sports that were on TV and I'm like, I had to like look at the info.
Were like newer ones.
Yeah.
Maybe
and I'm like,
started last Olympics. I don't know.
Like, is this the Olympics? Because I like would hit the info on I'm like, am I on the wrong channel? And then I'm like, oh my God, this is an Olympic sport.
Right? Yeah. It's super cool.
Yeah. So yeah, but those, I mean, gosh, I think I'm too scared to get on a skateboard. Like I'm not like the people that are like fearless. That's not me. I'm way too cautious. Yeah, I'd have to be wrapped in bubble wrap if you ever caught me on a skateboard. That would be
definitely the same way. But I feel like if I were going to do any kind of extreme sport, I would try surfing, but maybe not in Tahiti where these guys were because I just kept hearing about the reef being like so close to these waves that were just like churning and rolling and I would end up like Colin Jost. He was one of the correspondents for the Olympics and he went out there and trashed his foot and like had bandages and like got an infection and stuff. I'm like, that would be me. Just knowing how I am, that would absolutely be me. So
same.
That's about as extreme as I would get sports wise.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching the table tennis.
Oh, really?
That reminded me of Forrest Gump.
Yes.
And it was just wild. Like wild how these people returned some of these like serves. I'm like, I didn't even see where it went. And I was like, is that what you do? You just like react? I'm like, how It was intense.
I am the worst table tennis player. Like, I remember trying to play beer pong in college, and I couldn't even like give it a little tap, you know, like it wouldn't go anywhere, and I'd just be like, nope, just hand me the ping pong ball. I'll just chuck it in.
Yeah, I don't know. I was, so besides track and field, I was glued into gymnastics. And
oh God, yes.
Even the men's, like we have not, gosh, it's been years since we've had like a decent men's gymnastics squad. And then, oh God, the pommel horse guy. I didn't know anything about him until the Olympics.
He's
and it's
the
funny.
Cutest thing on the
oh my
planet.
God, I love him. I'm in love. Like the cutest thing. Like I just want to go grab his cheeks. But it was funny. I was looking at his Instagram the other night, and before the Olympics, like the videos that he would post, he'd get maybe like a couple thousand likes. And then I went to the Olympics, and he's like, oh, gosh, 200,000. Like his following went up like crazy. Like this was huge for him. But he like literally is like the cutest guy. Like he's got a picture of him and his girlfriend, and they're like in the pool. This was before the Olympics. And he's like, happy 7 years to the best person I know ever. And I was like, oh my God, he's the cutest. He's so cute.
So Steve is his name, and he's also local, which I think is really cool. He's from Massachusetts, and he they kept calling him like the Captain America of gymnastics, the Clark Kent of gymnastics, just because he'd take the glasses off and be like, I'm ready to go.
I know everyone.
Got some
people
swag.
Like, I can relate to we're calling him Pummel Horse guy, doing his routine, but then removing his glasses and doing that completely blind. Like that's so badass.
It honestly is. Like, I can't imagine just going up there and doing it by feel. Because what happens if your hand gets sweaty? Like, I know they put chalk on it, but like if you slip one little bit, like that's got to throw everything off. So this kid is just, he's on. Yeah,
you got to be on, right? That was impressive. He was awesome. I loved him. And then I don't know. I watched the rugby, gymnastics, men's and women's, and then obviously I watched a couple basketball games, but like I don't know. I feel like the Olympics are more like sports. I'm drawn to the sports that you don't see every day on TV.
Yeah.
I obviously watched the golf just because. And then I don't think there was many. I watched a little bit of the volleyball. Volleyball was pretty cool. And then the water polo. That's like pretty cool too. And then, the swimming. I watched a lot of the swimming.
I did watch swimming, but when you talk about the water polo, that has got to be one of the most boring sports I've ever
Very
seen.
Boring. Yeah, you like have to tread water and not try to get knocked in the head with a ball.
It's impressive that they're not drowning the whole time, because you do have to be in the deep end and tread water. But I watched some of it, and I'm just like, what else is on?
Yeah,
it wasn't my favorite, but
yeah. I also watched a little bit of the synchronized swimming.
I've seen clips of it, and that is just bonkers to me too.
That's intense. Like you are with, I don't know, 9, 10 other people in the pool, and you have to that's intense underwater. It's crazy. I watched some girl that was on one of the, I don't know if she was an American or whatnot, but they put their hair up, and then they put like a glass coating over their hair. I don't know what it is. And she went like this.
I
and
do
it was
know
like,
what it is. It's like a gelatin.
Oh,
it's a wicked
so cool.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but I saw a video of her like shellacking her hair down. And she said she has to put like a really thick layer because it does eventually dissolve in the water. So she's just literally like bloop, 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 and it's so goopy. But I think it is like a gelatin base.
Looks like a candy apple you'd get from the fair.
Oh my God.
That coating.
Except it's not red or green.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it is bizarre, like the stuff that they have to do to look good in the pool. Like you wouldn't think about that.
Right. Well, imagine, your hair comes out of your bun. Like that would be devastating.
Point deduction.
That's a code brown. That is a code brown.
That is a code brown. Oh my God. That's something. Oh, I wish we could get some Olympians on here and talk about like what would constitute as a code brown.
Yeah.
Talking about the track and field events, which we both were glued to track and field. I saw many a false start to some of those, like the 100 meter, the 200 meter. Did you watch any of the steeplechase race that they had?
I did.
That's got to be one of the most bizarre sports I've seen too, because it's like hurdles, but it based off of like an old horse race or something. Because you jump over one into a pool.
Right.
I don't understand where that comes from, but
the best.
I saw somebody pancake down on that.
Oh yeah. Did you see the guy that got taken off with a stretcher?
No.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
he
think I
tripped
did.
over like the last one, not one with the water, and he like fell on his head.
Oh,
and they had to carry him off with a stretcher. It was like,
well, shit.
That was not good.
No, definitely not.
Whatever the games are before the Olympics that they qualify to get to the Olympics. I don't know.
The trials.
Snoop Dogg was there. And
he went to the trials too.
There's a video, I'll send it to you. He is commentating the steeplechase. And he's like, "Oh man, what they do? They jumping over that into the water? Oh, they look like a bunch of horses. Okay." Like, it's so funny because he'd never seen the event before. And I was like, we need more Snoop Dogg, which if we can go right into Snoop Dogg if we want.
We're going to talk all the Snoop Dogg because he was the highlight of the freaking Olympics for me. Anywhere Snoop went, I wanted to watch because that is his whole thing. He's so like, what's going on? I just remember, I don't know if it was from this Olympics, but I heard a commentary. I think it was him and Kevin Hart. Like he was commenting on, what is it? The horse dancing, is it dressage? Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. That was the funniest clip I've ever heard.
He's like, this horse is crip walking. He's like, oh, shoot. Oh, okay.
Oh my God. He's such a gem. I mean, maybe back in the day, maybe not so much, but now just that he's like older and
right. He's grown up a little bit.
He's so wholesome. Him and like even Martha Stewart together.
Right.
I think they're like the most weird pairing of friends, but I'm here for it.
It works. Yeah, and
it is so good.
Listen, we better petition for Snoop in LA in 2028.
If he's not there, something is wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching.
It's his home turf. It is his home turf. So
right, I know. I wonder who else they'll have.
He will be there.
I'm trying to think of somebody that is like as entertaining as him that you would
probably
never.
Dr. Dre.
Like, that was the whole thing. Oh my gosh! Like I was so confused in the beginning. I'm like, why is Snoop Dogg at the Olympics? Like, what is? But it was beautiful. It was perfect.
It was a really weird choice, but I'm very glad that they made it, whatever the decision behind it was.
Yeah.
Because he honestly stole the show for most of it.
He really did. And all of his outfits, wardrobe changes. And then there was, he was holding the Olympic torch at one time. And people are like, oh, he's going to light a blunt with that.
He's just like, hey.
They're not wrong.
What's up?
Oh, God. It was
do
great.
No wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely good.
Yeah, and then the other celebrity that was there, Flava Flav, which
he was not on my
bingo
there. Card. He was nowhere near it.
No, but his story is even awesome too. So this is the other thing too. A lot of these Olympians have to pay their own way. You know,
right?
Like, they have full-time jobs. Like Pommel Horse guy, he has a full-time job and he does this on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But I know like the USA pays for people to go and stuff, and you get bonuses. But like other countries and stuff, they don't have the money, and if you want to go to the Olympics, you got to foot the bill.
Yeah.
So that was the case with the USA. Did it start with the women's or was it
the men's? I feel like it was the women's water polo.
Water polo, yeah.
Yeah.
So the women's water polo team, I don't know how they got connected. Do you know?
I think it was Instagram. They posted something and Flava Flav was like, I got you.
Yeah. So now Flava Flav sponsors the men's and women's water polo teams, which is awesome. Like, that's so cool. And did you hear the story about how I think the women got there a couple days before the games and Taylor Swift had a concert and he bought them tickets to Taylor Swift?
No.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Like, Flava Flav. And it was so funny when they would like turn the camera to him in the stands, or even Snoop, because they were so into it, which I loved, because it was like, you know, they were like, yeah. Like they were just cheering, and like they were, you know, even Flava Flav, he was at different sporting events too. You know, and then it was very genuine.
I think it's so incredible that they had the opportunity to go out there for so long, and they were just like number one fans of Team USA, no matter what. They were at swimming, they were at gymnastics, they were at skateboarding, like they were all over the place. Like, right. Just the fact that they got to go around and see all the different events. Like, I'm pretty sure he was at beach volleyball too. Maybe that was just Snoop. I don't know, but
Tom Brady was there too.
I did see that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Who was it? Dawn, the coach of the South Carolina women's basketball team. Dawn Staley. I think Stanley. I don't know. She's like really great basketball coach. Their basketball team's amazing. She posted on Instagram and she took a picture of Tom Brady and she's like, don't look him in the eyes, ladies. He's got something. He is she's like, he's the most handsome man I've ever met in my entire life. I'm like, yeah, that's true. So,
yeah, we've been drooling over him for years since he was a Patriot.
Oh my God, right?
I know
there was a lot of celebrities there, which was cool. I mean, if I had like a ton of money, I mean, I'm considering going to LA in 2028. So if you want to save some pennies, we should go. I want to go for a week. I want to plan it out. I think that would be awesome.
If LA does the same kind of thing that Paris did, where they held, I guess, the Olympic marathon, but for the public,
right?
I would
100%
do that. Yep.
Oh my God, let's do it.
I would be so in.
We got to write a 4-year marketing plan.
I'm
On the Runs is going to sponsor it. Now. We're sponsoring the People's Marathon at the Olympics.
God, if this podcast does one thing for me, let it be this.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome.
But what was kind of cool, I think I mentioned it before on the pod, I did have the opportunity to go out and run that marathon because they were doing like different challenges. There was an app and you got entered into these lotteries and I actually did win a bib to it, but there was no way I could have afforded to go out there.
Yeah, that's an expensive trip.
How cool of an opportunity is that? Like I was watching a lot of stuff from Bex and I don't know anybody personally who did run it, but they had it at night. It was the same course that the professionals ran on. They like lit it up. They had like live music on the side. They made it a huge event and I am sad I did not get to go experience it, but I didn't spend $1 billion to get there. So
well, if they do it for LA, let's seriously consider that.
I am in.
I will take a week off of work for that. I will run the marathon and then I will just go watch the Olympics. Oh my gosh.
I got the vacation time. I'll book it now.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like, nobody else can have that.
Yes.
We have been.
Oh, what about the Olympic video? I mean, the village, the Olympic village.
Oh my God. So the way I pictured the Olympic village, okay, I picture it as this giant, like horny summer camp. Like it's like the wet, hot American summer, but just in France. Like, I don't know.
The way that they like talk about it sounds like that, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, a lot of these people are in relationships or married.
Oh, that's true.
Do they think that all these Olympians are just going to go to this village and just bang everybody? Like, does that happen? Because they gave them 300,000 condoms.
That is wild. That is like an absurd amount of condoms.
Like, is that, I don't understand. Right? But like, do they think they just go there, they do their event and then they just have sex for the rest of the time? Like, I don't understand that. And like, if people are going to have sex, then they should be responsible for their own condoms. But I don't know if you saw some of these condoms, but they had like jokes on them too.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So I saw again on Instagram, it was like something about like just like sexual jokes about why you should use a condom. Great. And they were funny.
I feel like
but
this is where Eric should put like a picture of it, like for the YouTube video, like on the side or something.
I'll try to find the post. But they were talking about like the comments and stuff that they had on the condoms. Because I think it was, again, another late night show had an Olympian on and they brought some of the condoms to talk about them. But that's just so, is there any other like event where they would provide 300,000 condoms?
Unless it's like literally a safe sex convention. No, I cannot think of anything else.
Maybe it's also the Olympic orgy and we don't know about it. They can't talk about it.
But you know that they're trying to prevent all that with the stupid cardboard beds. Like,
oh my God,
I cannot imagine having to sleep for 2 weeks on a cardboard bed. Like, we need to, I really want to know from one of the Olympians, like, the comfort level of this thing. Like, is it literally, are you sleeping on a freaking cardboard box? Like, or is there some sort of mattress to this thing? Like, what are you doing? So
I don't know if you know this, but is the Olympic Village, is that like free for the athletes to stay in? Is that why it's so like low, like prison cell-ish?
Dormitory.
Yeah, right. That too.
I feel like it is, but I did read that the athletes were not like confined there. Like they didn't have to stay there if they didn't want to. Like I know that the Team USA basketball team, they didn't stay there because they're all like 8 feet tall and like these tiny beds. They would not get good sleep. So they stay at like the host hotel, and I'm sure like there's a ton of other athletes who opt out of it, but that probably is like the base level where people will stay.
There was a lot of people that I follow a bunch of these athletes on Instagram, and they had like Airbnbs and hotels and stuff because they had their family over there. Like Ellie St. Pierre, her mom and her husband and her little son, they like had a house at one point, and I think after that she moved closer to like the track, but it was a hotel, so they went from like a house because they were there. They went for like 2 weeks. So
nice.
But yeah, I didn't really see much on the Olympic Village. I just the condoms and the cardboard beds.
That's basically all I know, except I heard that they were trying to accommodate all the athletes, and they had like a certain percentage of vegan food at their cafeteria, and like nobody ate it. So they wound up running out of all the other food, and they had to like compensate by buying more eggs and more meat, because who knew like that meat and protein is going to be really good for athletes. So
yeah, weird.
I've heard that the food is not great. So
yeah,
I don't know
you would think
what they did to supplement chocolate muffins from that the swimmer from the Netherlands, I think.
Oh right.
Oh my god, the TikToks from that kid are freaking hysterical. Anywho.
Yeah, so all right, how about this? Who were your gold, silver, and bronze athletes of the 2024 Olympic Games? Like favorite to top 3.
Oh, throw me a curveball here. All right. So I think I have to give my gold medal to Sifan Hassan. She was awesome in track and field events. So she did the 5,000 meter, the 10,000 meter, and the marathon. And that all fell within like the same, like, was it the same weekend? I don't even know, but that I think was the first time an athlete has attempted to do all 3 of those events.
Right.
And she medaled in them all. Like she got a bronze in both the 5 and the 10K, and she won gold for the marathon.
And that marathon finish was so awesome.
Glued to it. Absolutely glued to it. I was so rooting for Team USA, but I know like Fiona O'Keefe had to drop early, so we only had M. Sisson and Dakota Lindworm for like our top. And I mean, they did a fantastic job, but I was just kind of rooting for Sifan. I was like, come on.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
I had watched her in the other events, and she's got the end kick, and that's something I wish I had. I wish I was better at having a kick like at the finish line. I go out too hot and I burn out. So whatever she does, she holds it in, and she just has that energy at the end to just peace out, bye.
yeah, that was impressive.
Oh, even like she was throwing it. Well, I don't think she threw the elbows, but she was getting pushed into the boards at the finish line, so she kind of had to get her way out of there. So there was like some pushing at the end. So it did make for a really, really, really interesting finish at the marathon.
It was very cool.
Who would I pick for silver and gold though?
I'll give you my
give me your gold so I can think.
I gotta go. I know this is going to be a popular pick, but Simone Biles.
Oh, of course.
I know. She just, everything that happened with her, and I'm going to kind of squirrel here, but if you haven't seen Sprint on Netflix, you have to watch it. So I watched it right before, I watched it right before the Olympic Games started, and it was awesome because there were like, I knew these people, but I didn't know I think it's 6 episodes, and it was the Olympic trials and stuff. And it was like Noah Lyles and Sha'Carri Richardson, Gabby, like all the like sprinters and stuff. Anyways, but they're coming out with a part 2, and it's going to be footage of Paris.
Oh, so cool.
Yes. So I also watched, there's a 2-part episode on Netflix of Simone. And it shared her entire story of 2020 and everything that she went through. And, just like, I can't imagine being in her shoes and going to the Olympics and just people being like, oh yeah, well, she should win. And then if she wins, well, she should have. And if she doesn't, it's like, oh, well, you're a failure. And imagine like living with that daily, and yes, she's phenomenal at what she does, but like, we're all human. We're going to mess up. We're not going to be the best all the time. but for her to like take herself out of the game in 2020, and then she kind of took some time off and she didn't know where she was going with all this, and then finally like regained confidence, and you know, she started doing therapy and got herself back, and then she got back in the gym, and then shows up at 2024 and just freaking kills it. And she's got 2 moves named after her. She's a rock
she has
star.
more than that now, doesn't she?
True. Yeah.
Oh,
I think maybe she only did 2 at the games, but it's just such an awesome story of just like resilience, and you know, just it's a great example for like every other athlete and just normal people out there that like, you know, we all go through shit. You know,
that's the importance of taking care of your mental health. Like, if you're not going to take care of yourself, who's going to take care of you? Right. And I mean, who cares about your haters? Like, everybody's going to talk. I mean, on her level, she's just in the public spotlight so much more than a normal person would be. But like, people, if they're going to talk, they're going to talk, and just try not to let it affect you, and just take care of yourself, whatever you need to do. Like, that's the important takeaway. But God, I love her. Like, she's
her
so
stats
awesome.
And stuff were just, and she's 27 years old, and she's the oldest female to ever win the overall, the all around gold by 8 years. Like, God. Yeah, like it's been 17, 18, 19-year-olds, and she's 27. So when they interviewed her, like a couple interviews, they were like, is this, you know, are you going to go out like this? And she's like, I'm not saying no. So who knows, we might see her in LA, because she did make a comment about, you know, she's like, I don't know. It is a home event. So
and Snoop are like this. So maybe, maybe he can get her to come back.
Yes. But she's my gold, hands down.
Nothing makes me feel older than dirt when like she's the oldest one. She's
27, right? God, what I wouldn't give to be 27. I was like trashing my body at 27, like drinking every single night.
Basically.
I wish I knew now. Oh God.
Yeah, I totally am on the same page with that. Man, you still threw that curveball. Like, I would probably give my silver to Sha'Carri Richardson. I think she did it. She's like confident enough, but she's got the backing to it. I mean, anybody on that track team, like Gabby Thomas, freaking did phenomenal. I just love to watch it. We mentioned Tara Davis Woodhull. Like, I loved watching her do her long jump and stuff.
Yeah, and her husband are so cute.
They were was a tear jerk. That was a tear jerking moment for me when she like jumped into his arms in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, baby, you're an Olympian. I was like,
yep. And how awesome. He is a Paralympian, so is he going to be out competing in the Paralympics this year?
Yes, I don't know. I think he's a sprinter. I'm not sure though. I don't know.
I think you're right. I know he does track and field events. He's a double amputee, so but I'll watch his events. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yes. But I think also for her name is Sydney. She does the 400-meter hurdles.
Yeah, Sydney McLaughlin Maroney.
They showed the top 10 fastest
I just butchered her name,
times, and she owns 7 of them, I think.
That is very Katie Ledecky of her.
Right. And so but she had no competition. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, there was nobody behind it. Like, it looked I'm like,
so
how are you that good?
For her. Effortless.
Yeah.
Like, she was a magical unicorn just prancing down
and she didn't even look like she was trying. I was like, oh God, that must be so embarrassing. Not embarrassing, but like, that must suck for everybody else. Like, everybody else looks like they're dying, and she's like, oh,
so it wasn't even just the hurdles. Like, she like levitated over these hurdles, but even when she was doing the relays with the other ladies, like, she's just so freaking fast. The amount of space she put between her and the next competition was like incredible. So I think did we win gold in both the 4x1 and the 4x4? I know we got 4x1. I don't know about 4x4. I think we did for the women, but I feel like the men might have lost one of them.
I think men had a major baton fumble in the 4x1. Yes. It was embarrassing.
So I think the women won both and the men won one of them. Okay. Or something like that.
Yeah, I was just blown away with how our track and field performed. Like, I've never I don't remember us being this great. It's always been the Jamaicans. You know, so again, you got to watch sprint, but they were like so dominant in the sprinting, you know, and I saw something today, which was really cool. So Gabby Thomas says that the longest she ever runs is 1 mile. She's a sprinter, and she's like, we don't run any further than a mile. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. I'm like, just imagining, like, could you imagine going in a whole year and what's your longest run this year? 1 mile. But you have like all these medals from the Olympics, but you're a sprinter. So I get it. Like, you're literally sprinting.
I think I have some envy for them because I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, I would love to just run just 1 mile.
Right. But yeah, it was cool. There was so many races too. And so the one that I did watch on replay, this is probably one of two things I watched on replay. I was at Canopy Lake with my friend and her kids, and one of my friends texted me and she said, are you watching the 10,000 meter right now? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm not. The men's. And she's like,
God, yes.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God. She's like, I'm gonna spoil her. And she told me how oh God, what's his name? The guy that came. I put it on the notes.
In gold?
No, the American Grant Fisher.
Oh, okay.
So he was like nowhere in the picture this whole race. I mean, he was like with the lead pack, but then when they made the final turn, like maybe the last 200, he was in like 6th place. And there was no American whatsoever. And his kick in that last like 150, I was screaming. And I already knew what was happening. I knew he came in 3rd, but I'm like looking at the TV and I'm like, he's in 6th right now. He's in 6th place. I'm like, how does he do this? And the jets went on and he got a freaking bronze. And I was just like, that was amazing. It was so awesome. I'm like, it was so cool. That was one of the coolest races, I thought.
Was that the one that Cole Hawker won, or was that the 5K?
That was the 1500.
Oh, the 15. Okay, because I was glued to that one just because you always hear about Ingebrigtsen and Kerr.
Yeah.
And the two of them were like, of course, right up front. But then bam, here comes Hawker. And then Kerr gets 2nd and Ingebrigtsen doesn't even get in. And there was another American. I can't recall his name right now, but that was on the edge of my seat moment.
Right.
Olympic
It
event.
was, it was wild.
Crazy.
There were just so many races, and even like the 100 with Noah Lyles, like they had to go to the film, which something I learned. I didn't know it was your chest that was that thing that they went to for the picture. So like even if you stuck your hand out or if you stuck your foot out, it doesn't count.
I learned that too. Because they had all these lines, and I'm like, what am I looking at? At that point, I couldn't see anything, like who was where. Thank God they have these freeze frames.
Yeah, right.
It's so difficult to see, but it is just crazy. Like you have to do like the
I'm like, he won by a nipple.
Honestly, that could have been the case. Could have been the case.
Seriously. One other thing, and I don't know if you know this, and I'm going to feel really dumb if the majority of the people listening knew this. So 10,000 meters. Okay. It's also 10 kilometers.
Yes.
Which I was trying to do the math, and I'm like, 10,000 meters. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, so if a 400, 400s is 1 mile, and I'm trying to like divide 10,000 by 4, but it's a 10K, 6.2 miles. I didn't know that. I'm like, what is, and like the 3,000, 3K, that's, 5,000.
Yeah.
5K. It's 3.1.
Yeah.
I was like, my friend Jen and I did this. We were doing the math and we were like, oh, it's like around 6. Maybe it's like 5.9. And then the light bulb went off and I was like, wait, it's 6.2. I'm like, that's a 10K.
That's adorable.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what, though? I got to give you some credit because they do have really weird events. Like you get the 400, the 800, whatever. But then you have like a 1,500. Why not just make it the even 16 for a mile?
Right.
Like, I don't understand why they do it that way.
I don't either.
And then they have like the 3,000 meters. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why not just do the 5K or whatever? I don't understand how these came to be. But
yeah. I don't either. But learned a lot of things.
Everybody's got those moments. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then the field events, I watched a couple of those, the hammer throw, the javelin. There was actually a really good story. I was going to bring it up, but I don't know the guy's name. I forgot. I want to say he's from Pakistan. He like broke the men's
javelin?
record.
Oh, I watched that.
Yeah,
that was nuts.
Right, but there was like a story behind it. I don't know, but like a lot of these, some of these actually, there's a golfer, Tom Kim. I think he's from Korea, and they have like you have to go into like the services, like they have a draft, like it's not an option. But the only way to get out of it is if there's a couple things, but one of it is if you win an Olympic medal. And he came in like 4th place, and there was like he was crying because now he's eligible for the draft. But I'm just thinking about like how good we have it as Americans, you know. And it's like this poor kid's like playing for his freedom, you know. And it's like all these other countries too. There were so many like feel good stories. Who was the sprinter? There was a sprinter who was adopted. He was an orphan, and he was adopted by a woman. And she like gave him a life, and he turned into a sprinter, and he's at the Olympics, and she ended up adopting his brother. And it was like a big awareness for like, you know, adoption and stuff. And there were so many awesome stories like that I just like made my heart like, good job.
You know what? That is one of the perks about the Olympics, is learning about all of the athletes and their backgrounds, because not everybody grew up privileged, and everybody's got their struggles. And I just think it's really cool to see where everybody's coming from, all coming together, you know?
Right. Yeah. But even Simone.
Right.
Simone Biles was adopted.
That's
like
right.
Her parents are actually her grandparents, which I didn't know that.
Oh,
but
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that if you watch that Netflix documentary.
God damn it, Terry, you're adding more on my list.
That one's easy because it's only 2 episodes. But
all right.
But I didn't know that about her.
Now that I don't have the Olympics to watch, what am I going to do?
I was like in a deep depression on Monday. I was like, what do I do now that the Olympics are over? It's like life is boring.
You know what? To piggyback on your point about Korea with the draft, BTS, like that big like K-pop band, they had to enlist into
oh, really?
Army. Yeah, one of them got out so far. He's already done his service. So
I didn't know that.
Like everybody's waiting on everybody else. I only hear like bits and pieces of it from sometimes.
Oh,
we got a special guest here. You guys.
We got
matchy. I didn't get the memo. What the hell?
How you doing? Big fan of the show.
What's up, buddy? First time caller, long time listener.
Oh, for long time listener, first time caller. I wanted to support the show here. Put the T-shirt on.
You're doing awesome,
you know,
buddy.
I love the people who support the show. We're part of this pod fam. It's so cool to be part of what you're doing. Great job. Thank you so much for having me on.
Let me just tell you, buddy. Your job's hard. We're doing pretty well. We're rolling,
we're doing
but
okay.
Sometimes we're like. So you are like king of keeping it going. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's cool. That's cool to hear. You know, this is my first time. It's only been about 45 seconds now. I'm enjoying it. What are you talking about? Are we talking Olympics?
We certainly are. We're like an hour in.
Yeah, we've been like all over the map, but it's been fun reliving it because now that the Olympics are over, I'm in a depression.
Well, I didn't get to watch any, only on YouTube. I only got a few things to say, like before the house gets destroyed downstairs. I just made dinner. Hopefully they're happy, you know, getting their bellies full. But one, the opening ceremony didn't have a stadium.
No, it was on the.
That's what I liked about it.
Is that how you
say
it?
you liked it?
Seine?
I did like it.
I heard
you
there
gotta
was
go
so
back
much.
And listen to this episode, buddy.
I can't wait to listen to it. Who's editing it?
Oh, it's got to be you.
Oh, no.
It's going up raw and unhinged otherwise, so you figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing I want to talk about is 3 things happened during these Olympics, and they were the only 3 things I continue to hear about.
Yes.
And it pisses me off because these other people, athletes who work their butts off for years, aren't getting the same recognition. So we got one, the break dancer. We're not even going to say her name. She doesn't deserve for us to say her name.
Yeah, this is good. We haven't talked about this yet.
But what a joke.
Yeah, she's like the Haktua girl of the Olympics. She's gone viral.
I don't know. I think
There's
most
so
people
many
don't like this
memes.
girl. People like the Haktua girl.
Yeah. Well, for some.
Except for Erica.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan
of
of her either.
I'm over it.
The breakdancer, though, she has stole the meme game. There's so many memes.
Look
so
what
many.
I can do.
Yeah.
Not only that, though, isn't her like country super pissed off?
Well,
they're signing petitions to get her to
laughing stock, basically.
Yeah.
And apparently, her and her husband like did this thing to weasel their way into the Olympics.
I did. I was reading all this stuff, and it's
because they paid for it, right?
What did they say? It's kind of like it was nepotism basically, but like she kind of set everything up. Like her husband was on the judge committee, and I don't.
He was like her coach and the judge, and like the person who chose who went. And apparently, this other lady like did spins on her head and everything, and she didn't even win.
I don't know. It is a crock. So because of this whole Australia breakdance thing, it kind of puts the sport of breaking in jeopardy for the next Olympics. So
it already is. It's already out.
I don't think it's a sport.
Wait,
it's not in LA.
No way. I didn't know it was
like
fast
a one-off
took it out.
because like breakdancing has something to do with the culture of Paris or France. It was France, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paris is in France.
Yes. Yes. We already talked about how bad I am at geography, so apparently you are too.
I don't think breakdancing is a sport. I'm sorry, but they are bringing flag football to LA.
Flag football.
That's going to be an Olympic sport in 2028.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, I would rather watch more rugby, honestly.
Yes.
Bring back just more rugby.
Yeah.
You could have rugby 7s, rugby 11s, rugby 14s, rugby 21s.
You know what was cool was,
rugbies.
Speaking of rugby, one of the first Olympic events was the men's rugby, and France won, which I was like, how cool is that? Because it's like in their home country. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So
that's awesome.
Eric, what were the other two things?
Okay, so the coolest guy was this Turkey 007.
Yep, we didn't get to talk about him yet either. So he was
wicked cool.
It's like he walked off the streets and was like, "I'll try."
No, the best meme I saw was like the Turkey government coming up to him at a bar. He's drinking, he's lonely, he's by himself, and they're like, "We need you. We have one more job." And he's like, "I'm retired," and he goes, "This is for the country." And then he goes out there, hand in pocket, just like. But did you see all the other shooters? By the way, how the heck is shooting an Olympic sport?
I know. Who votes on this?
So isn't that in the Winter Olympics though? But they make it so you're like
that's like cross-country skiing. It's endurance, it's accuracy, it's like survival of the fittest.
Your heart rate and trying to get it to equalize fast enough where you can sharpshoot. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
but just shooting a gun, like okay, is darts an Olympic sport? Let's go back to breaking. Like, how did breaking become an Olympic sport? Is ballet an Olympic sport?
Bowling out there.
Is bowling?
No, bowling isn't, but like
it should be over like shooting
as a
and
sport?
breaking.
Right. I agree.
You know,
by the way, it's called breaking.
Breaking.
Yes. I think some of these sports need some reevaluations. I don't know who's on the Olympic committee that actually gets to make these decisions.
Should be the two of you.
I'll be a judge.
So this shooter guy, this Turkey 007, he was awesome. I loved him. I liked the guy. And then he seems just all the photos he's taken with, like, he's a celebrity now, but he has the same look, a little grin to his smile, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, I know, I'm a badass. I didn't need all that fancy gear and closing an eye and having like a little microscope on this one.
What you like to say, he raw dogged it.
He raw dogged
it. He just goes out there
he really
with
did.
His glasses and he just bam. Silver medal for him. Good for him.
He did.
Do you like him better than Pummel Horse Guy?
Who's Pummel Horse Guy?
Oh boy.
He really
is this like a horse, like the equestrian?
It's the USA Gymnastics who he literally did one event.
Steve Netterosa.
And he looks.
His name is Steve.
Yeah, they were comparing him to Clark Kent. Like,
of all the people in the Olympics, he probably thought he was the least likely to go viral.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just so cute.
He can do a Rubik's Cube in under 15 seconds.
I don't know if that's a good thing, Eric. Is that a good thing to be like, he's just so cute?
We already talked about how adorable he is.
I'm like,
I love him.
Say?
I would date him.
I don't think that bodes well for him. But the guy who won the Olympics without actually getting a medal, with all the women around the world likely, is this pole vaulter.
His dong won the Olympics.
Yes.
I looked him up. His name is
You looked what up?
His name.
Is that all you looked up?
Who hasn't seen that picture, dude? Come on. But yeah, his name is Anthony Ammirati, and he's the French pole vaulter.
Is he married?
He had a baguette in there.
Is he single?
Smuggling a baguette.
I mean, if he's single, good for him. I mean, he's going to be wicked popular in France.
He won't be for much longer.
If he's married...
How do you say OnlyFans in French?
OnlyFans? I don't know. My
Nice.
microphone is, this is a brand new microphone. I just took it out of the box and it is so freaking loud. Guys, I don't know how I sound. Probably
You
huge
sound
echo.
great on my
You
end.
sound good to me, so we'll see how this comes out.
I got one more question. Okay, so we covered the breaker, who we're not gonna say her name. She doesn't deserve that.
No.
We got the 007 of Turkey. I don't know his name. You talked about Steven.
I
Okay,
do know
cool.
his name. His name is Yusuf. I can't pronounce his last name.
Dickick.
Cool. I mean,
I wasn't gonna try. But
I appreciate his talent.
It.
I'm just like shooting as an Olympic sport. I get like shooting comps and everything, but as an Olympic sport, I don't know.
Eh.
And then we got the pole vaulter. Okay, we covered that.
Yes.
What about this guy on the USA track team who talks so much trash?
Oh, Noah Lyles.
I put
lost.
that as a topic. So,
Well, he won the gold in the 100, but then he got COVID allegedly.
Allegedly.
That started this whole thing. He came out being all like hot shit. He wins the gold medal. He's like ripping his name off his shirt, and then the next event, he's showboating around. That to me is very unsportsmanlike. I wish they would have penalized him somehow for that, because that is just
No, you can't do that for
obnoxious.
personality, though.
He did it before the race, though. Like that's
sometimes you just got to hype yourself. I didn't like it either. But it can't be a
that's
penalty.
different than
it could be a
hyping.
taunting
He, like,
penalty.
ran
Is he taunting
around.
his competitors, or is he just
I don't
like,
think taunting.
I'm the
I don't
man?
know.
So he claims, and you guys both have to watch Sprint on Netflix, because there was a lot about this. Him and
Gotcha.
Shikari, they were both very
he beat him,
cocky.
right?
Who?
Well, actually, no. Shikari got silver. The trash
Yes.
talker actually got bronze, right? And then someone else got gold.
Yes.
Anyways,
That
they're
is
both.
correct.
I know what I'm
They're
talking
both
about.
very, very confident and cocky.
Mhm.
And there's like a lot of the competitors talk about how like they don't like it, but then they talk about it. They use it as a tactic to get into people's heads, which
Yeah.
okay, I get that. But
Gamesmanship.
like, it's just Noah is just he's way too much for me.
You know
But-
what? Here's my take.
He is talented. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
I mean he backs
just think
it up, but
he's too much of a.
you know what
showboat.
his thing is that when he lost, he like ran away.
Yeah.
Like you got to take it and give it, and you can't just
Yeah, if
run
you're
away
gonna
when it
dish
doesn't
it
go your
out,
way.
deal with
That's
it,
my
yeah.
problem. Like
No, I
you got to
agree.
be the same the whole time. You can't be a
It was
little
like
baby,
he lost,
take
and
your
all of a
ball and
sudden
go
I have
home.
COVID.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
who he is. All I know is listen to the other podcast. Is he went a little overboard on the trash talk or like just the showboating before that race,
Mhm.
and then he lost. So I know nothing about him besides he's like an extreme talent. Good for you.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna showboat before, you gotta show up and win the race.
Put your money where your mouth
No
is. Right.
excuses.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean,
So
he is talented. He's the fastest man in the world. That you get that title if you win the 100. So he's the fastest man in the world. But like, tone it down just a little bit.
You're at a 10. We're gonna need you
Yeah.
at like a 7.
So here's the thing. I know he's a USA athlete. America, go Team USA. But when I don't have a dog in the fight, I root for those guys to lose. Because I love to see it. When you talk so much trash and then some underdog comes and just like shows you up. I love that story. I love the underdog story. If there was not an American in a race, I was pulling for the person like in fourth.
Yeah.
To plow
In
through the
that
top
race,
3
though,
and win.
The one with Noah Lyles, like the 200, right? It was a 200. An American beat him. So he didn't win gold, but an American won silver, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
you can
Yeah.
still
He got bronze.
you can still cheer for USA, but just doesn't have to be for the showboat.
Yeah, so that's all I have. I have one question though. Like if I were to go back on YouTube and
Yeah.
Google or YouTube like one event or one thing from the Olympics and not soccer, what should I go back and watch that I might have missed? I did see some diving, by the way. I can't believe how little of a splash.
Synchronized diving is cool.
So do you know
Really?
the Chinese men won all of the diving competitions?
Yeah,
They
like
won
swept
gold
it.
in all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they're like 4'0" and they weigh 100 pounds.
Zero splash. None
My
splash.
favorite event, the one that I almost pulled a hamstring jumping up off the couch, was the men's 10,000 meter.
Oh, you
So-
know what? I actually watched the 15,000 now that I remember it. The guy from Norway won.
Yeah, that was good too. But you
Yeah.
got to watch the 10,000. That was
I saw the last day. So whatever was on the last day I saw, it was like the 4x1
think-
relays or the
Oh,
4x4 relays and a few others.
we screwed up the 4x1.
How's
the
this
men's.
work actually?
Oh,
No, we won, I think, the 4x400, and it was a great race. But apparently, there was a
Yeah, the
fifth runner
4x1
for the
though,
USA who
the
also
baton.
got the gold. But like, you can have multiple runners on your team who don't actually run in the race and they still get a medal?
Yeah, I think you get like 2 alternates for the relays just in case. Like, so Noah Lyles was supposed to run, I think, in the 4x1, but he bailed because he had COVID. So somebody filled in for him.
So if the team won gold, Noah Lyles got a gold.
Yes.
So essentially, like,
you could
the
do
two
nothing.
you could be subs and you could be a gold medalist with never running on the track.
Breaking 2028. I'm trying out.
Not happening. Australia ruined it for all of us.
Oh, that's right. I'll go.
Well, let me ask you this though: outside of your main sport and outside of running, what sport would you compete in the Olympics?
I'd go rugby. I think I missed my calling with rugby. Soccer.
Women's national team.
I feel like those are easy outs. Okay, what about like an individual sport though?
Windsurfing.
Yeah, in Tahiti, right? Wasn't it in Tahiti?
Yeah, go to Tahiti. I feel like I do better in that than I would actual surfing. So maybe windsurfing's the way to go.
I'm gonna go table tennis because I was really good at beer pong in college.
Atta girl.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna do the pole vault.
Oh.
Yeah.
You respect your junk too much, don't you?
You could do the high jump.
That's hard. I did high jump in high school.
Long jump.
I have no ups.
I have no jump. I have no jump. No,
there is no
like
jump.
I'm not
out.
fast.
No.
I don't know what that would be.
Javelin.
Yeah, what's the one with the ball though?
Hammer.
You throw the ball.
You could do the hammer throw.
That's shot put.
Eric, we were talking about we're going to go to LA in 2028. So we're going to start saving now.
Well, we need the podcast to blow up then, because if we're going to do that, we can't afford it on our own.
That's why
said
we need you.
If On the Runs is going to do anything for me, it's going to be sending me to LA.
We're going to go. You have some assignments. Like, are you doing your assignments? Like, help us get bigger.
Yeah. Yes. I'm trying.
I'm working on it.
Monday Media, LA 2028. You got to blow up.
Right?
Do what you can to help.
We're
like and share the pod. Join the Patreon page. Subscribe.
He's saying this now, so I don't have to do it later.
We're going to sponsor the face slapping team.
Oh, you know what? Let me leave on a good note.
And John Cena and like who else is going to be good on our team?
Let me leave on a good note. Sponsoring teams. I'm so pumped. Like, I'm not a Flavor Flav guy, but Flavor Flav sponsored the water polo teams. Like, I want to see more celebrities coming through and sponsoring these athletes, because the whole point to me coming on, I wanted to say those three athletes, the breaker, the shooter, and the pole vaulter stole the Olympics. They didn't even win anything. One was an absolute clown show. The other one was like probably America's #1 killer, and the other guy is
No, didn't he?
France's #1 killer. Medal. If you think about it.
Yeah. Oh, he did get a medal.
The shooter got a silver medal.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I like that guy. But the point was, these three people stole the Olympics away from all the others who worked so hard to get there. And then the water polo team, like, they couldn't afford to go to the Olympics. So Flavor Flav comes in and sponsors them for the next 5 years. Not just the women, the entire men's and women's team for 5 years. So that's this Olympics and the next Olympics. That my math, and beyond that, my math is that good. I want to see more celebrities do this. Sponsor and support these athletes and these teams and get like more, like, I love those stories. Snoop Dogg at the Olympics. That was cool. That was also a wicked awesome marketing move, because I thought about it later. He lives in LA. He's really pumping up the Olympics for LA. Yeah. He's like, this is cool, the Olympics, right?
He better be there.
If anybody
he's going to be there. He's going to be the USA mascot for the LA Olympics, is he not?
He's in for like, he's got to be in. I
gotta get me one of those little pins.
Oh, the pins. Yeah, we got to get those.
Yeah, where he's like blowing the smoke rings, but it's the Olympic rings. If anybody has an extra one of those, send it to me. Yes. I would love you forever.
Yeah.
Snoop stole the show.
He did.
So I'll end on a high note, but yeah, that was cool. So I got to go back to kids, and we got to like work on Adeline's costume, because this will drop after, I'm sure. Erica, I guess, I don't know when this is dropping, but she's in a play this weekend, and she's Toto.
It's this weekend. Oh,
yeah. Aww. So the Wizard of Oz, she's Toto.
That's cute.
Oh wait, is she in like the? Is this a play camp?
Yes.
Oh, my best friend's daughter's in that, and she was Dorothy. I mean, the Wicked Witch.
So she's going to be the Wicked Witch in my daughter's Toto. How cool
cute
is that? Are you going to the going to play?
Cool. Oh, that's
tomorrow night.
No, I can't, because it's tomorrow, right? Yeah.
And Saturday.
I'm going to a concert.
Saturday
you got
like
a
noon.
concert, don't you?
I'm going to a concert tomorrow.
Party girl.
I got way too much going on in one weekend. I'm not happy about it.
We're cramming this in before she has all that fun
I'm
stuff.
proud of you. Thanks for doing that. But hey, big fan of the show. Love what the two of you do. Send me some more swag. Guys, if you're listening, like and subscribe. Pod fam, this is awesome. I'm just a super fan. Thanks for letting me come on. This
Eric,
was great.
It
what
was
an
so
experience.
hard to coordinate this because you're such a busy guy. So we appreciate all the time you took to take and hop on here. You were great.
I gotta send him my show notes. He's gonna be proud of me of how much work we put into this.
Yeah,
we know. I'll be real proud of you when you wear an OTR shirt, though.
Oh, I know.
I didn't get the memo.
Check the gram. Someone just took an OTR shirt and decorated it.
Ooh,
looks pretty cool.
Love that.
We got an innovator out there. All right, we'll check it out post recording. But
all right,
Eric, thank you for joining us.
Love what you
do. You.
I'll give you a 5-star rating. Share this with me when you drop it, okay?
I kind of have to because
we'll tag you.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right,
Have a great chat, guys. See you later. Thank you.
Bye, Eric.
I hope my house isn't burning down. Bye.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh, that's funny.
Too fun. The only thing I did think of, I thought of who I would choose for my last medal if I were to give one out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it to Bhutan's. Her name is Kinzang Lamo. And she was the last finisher in the women's marathon.
Oh,
and Bhutan's just such a small country that they don't have the elite runners like Kenya or Ethiopia or even the US. She finished that marathon with everything she had, and she was a good hour plus slower than all the other women. And everybody stuck around to cheer for her. And I have to give her so much props for finishing that marathon in that heat with that course. Just trying to get it done. She just wanted to make her country proud. So I think that is epic.
Was she the one that said that my country didn't send me here to start the marathon? They sent me here to finish it.
Yep, that is
so
exactly
cool.
right. And
I love that.
I got to give her some credit because that is the most baller thing you could do.
Right?
No quitting. There's no quitting.
No, that's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's a good
So,
pick.
man, I mean, whew, we
speaking of the marathon.
Yes.
One cool thing, I don't know if you saw this, but Dakota, how do you say her last name? USA Dakota. Lindborn, yes. So she was posting a recap on Instagram, and she said that I think it was like around mile 20 or something. She was like trying to just dig deep, and she knew she had lost the lead pack, but she was still could have maybe got 10th. And there was a little boy who ran with her, kept her pace. She was running like 5:30s, and he was running with her, yelling her name. And he was like, "Come on, Dakota, you got this, Dakota." And she's like, and I heard him, and it gave me like this extra boost. And she's like, and I kept running, and he just kept running. And I look, and he's still running with me. And she's like, he ran with me for this period of time. And she was like, if that was anybody's son, can you please message me? And they ended up connecting. So she found the family, and she was like, I just have to meet this boy. Like, she's like, I think he was maybe 10, 11, 12.
Wow.
But she's like, he gave me so much energy to finish that race. And she's like, I definitely don't think I would have been as fast if he wasn't there running and cheering. And I was like, oh my God, like I have goosebumps talking about it right now. But I was like, how cool is that? And that goes back to us talking about marathons and, you know, the people cheering and stuff. And like, that wouldn't have been there 4 years ago, you know, with COVID. So,
oh my gosh,
that was just such a cool story.
I hadn't heard that. And I remember watching it on TV, and you could just see people on the sides. Like, there were people who were trying to keep up, but there were also people like biking alongside. And I think that is absolutely amazing that this young kid just was on her side, like, hey, let's go, you got this, like a little kid, like,
right? I know, I keep following.
It does give me all the feels.
I'm going to her Instagram page because I was like, I know she's going to post about him. I know she is. And I can't wait to see, like, they're going to meet, and it's going to be a picture, and it's going to be like awesome. And I can't wait to see that. So that was going to be an Olympian
someday. She's going to like, she's going to be on his side next.
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing.
I know. And one more thing, like, we really haven't talked about, but like the swimming. I watched a lot of the swimming too, and like Katie Ledecky is just like
powerhouse.
She's amazing. And there was one race where she finished, and you couldn't even see anybody else in the frame. There was nobody
badass
behind her.
That is probably the most baller thing you can do in a race.
And it's like, you know what's so cool though? And this is the other thing. I don't know. I was watching the Olympics with somebody. I don't know who it was. And I was like, they're underwater. So like they can't see where everybody is. I know they pick their head up when they get air, but they kind of don't know. Like there's nobody in their ear saying like, oh, you know, you've got like one body length lead. So it's like, you gotta swim hard, like the whole event, because you don't know where anybody else is. So like, that's going to be so hard mentally, you know?
Yeah. Swimming is probably like the hardest sport that I can really think of, because you really don't know what you're up against. Like you could be like 1/100th of a second away. And like, how are you supposed to know? Especially if you're not in a lane that's like right next to them. Because I mean, you can kind of get peripheral vision, maybe. I don't even know. I'm not a swimmer myself. But I mean, you really do just have to leave it all out there every single time.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. Yeah. But there was a couple like really young swimmers that this was their first games and they did great. There was one Canadian swimmer who I think is going to be like the next Katie. I don't think there'll ever be, you know, like it's like Michael Phelps. Like there's never going to be another Michael Phelps, but there's some really great swimmers out there and stuff. But just like seeing, and that was another cool thing too. Like how many, there was like teenagers at the Olympics. I'm like, I don't even know I was like stealing booze from my parents at 16, 17. And then these kids were over in Paris competing in the Olympics. Like, how cool is that? Like,
you should have seen.
I think there was that one kid on the 4x1 and he was like, oh, I forgot to do my summer reading. I'm going to get in trouble when I start school on Monday.
16? Yep. Yeah. And then you look at like the skateboarders and like the girls specifically are like 14, 13. I was like, oh wow, I can't believe how young you are. Like,
right? I'm like, I could be your mother.
Tiny.
That could be my kid.
Yep.
But it's so cool.
I think that's so awesome. So I think we covered a lot of stuff. Should we just go into like closing ceremony or closing thoughts on the whole Olympics?
So this is going to be all you, because I didn't watch. That's the one thing I didn't tune into. I didn't watch any of the closing ceremonies.
The closing ceremonies, honestly, didn't blow me away. It was more traditional. It was held in the same stadium that they did all the track and field events. So they had like the huge crowd. They just like paraded everybody in. They did have this really weird, like I kind of was like, why did they do it this way? But it was very Hollywood. So they had Tom Cruise. Like you had seen him popping up here and there at some of the events, and all of a sudden you see Tom Cruise at the closing ceremony. And he like rappels down from the roof of the whole stadium into it. He's running down. He goes to grab like the flame, or I don't even know the flag, the Olympic flag. That's what it was. He gets on a motorcycles out of the arena.
It's so Tom Cruise.
And then it gets totally Hollywood. Like he rides into like one of those giant cargo planes. He's in the plane. He skydives out of it. He's like running, and I think he hands it off to somebody else. But like he's in LA, so like, oh, this is cool. I totally forgot about this. You show him running up like a mountain, and the Hollywood sign, he makes it so that it says Hollywood, but he adds like extra rings to it. So like the two O's in Hollywood have like the Olympic rings. Eric, add a picture, because I'm not describing this to the total coolness of it, but I thought that was really cool. And then they went into like the handoff to LA, because as we have mentioned, LA is going to be the next location for the Olympics in 2028. I think that's going to be freaking cool. We got to go.
Erica and I are running the People's Marathon.
I really hope that
you heard it here first, folks.
We're going to somehow make this happen. I mean, they already have an LA marathon, so maybe they'll just use that.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. And they'll just do it at this time.
You know what, though? It's going to be hot. LA in the summer.
Maybe they'll do it at night like they did in Paris.
We'll just record footage the whole time. We'll have a fun run.
That's what Boulder is going to be when we eventually go to Boulder. So, I mean, I think that would still be cool. Just any capacity of hanging out in there. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I've never been to anything like that. Like I've never been to any huge event like a Super Bowl or anything. So that would be amazing. I think I would probably spend most of my time at the track. I would.
Oh, definitely.
I think
just
awesome.
I hope it wouldn't be that difficult to actually get tickets, because
I didn't even think about that.
I don't know where they're going to hold
up.
everything. But yeah, if we can make that happen, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, this was a really fun Olympics. I was glued to my TV for the solid 2 weeks. And one cool stat I want to leave you with: women took home 65% of USA's gold medals. So they won 26 out of the 40 that USA took home as a whole.
And Katie Ledecky had 20 of those.
she was definitely up there. I think that's super freaking cool.
That's so awesome.
That is wicked cool. So yeah, I mean,
and just think, many, many years ago, women couldn't even compete. Look at us now.
I know. And now they're working on at least getting the gender parity closer, like more equal. Right. This year they had, I don't know the exact stats, but I know it was closer to being equal as they
like
could get it.
Regarding like men's sports and women's sports.
Men versus. So
that's kind of like Title IX in college.
There we go.
So
all right.
I love that. Yeah, huge fan. 5 stars. I'm giving it 5 stars. I loved it.
Yep. So I'm going to try my hardest to pay attention to the Paralympics. They'll start in 2 weeks on the 28th. And I mean, they are going to be as awesome as, sorry, I'm seeing all these tabs like open up and I don't know what's going on. Newt has opened Riverside and other tabs.
Oh. He's creeping on us.
I think he is. So anyways.
He's got FOMO.
I am really thinking, yeah, he does. So I'm totally going to be watching some of the other stuff, but I think really I have to watch Sprint on Netflix, and I'll check out that Simone Biles.
Yes, I can't wait till Sprint 2 comes out. If you're listening, you have to, if you are into running, which you probably are if you're listening to this podcast.
I know, right?
You have to watch Sprint.
Or they just like us. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely tune in to the Paralympics. I don't know. So this is like a big thing for me, was that I knew a lot of these athletes that were going to be at the Olympics. So that was like a main reason for me watching
the familiarity.
The Olympics. Yeah, because I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see how Simone does, or a lot of the Ellie St. Pierre. I got to give her a shout out. Vermont dairy farmer. She killed it. She was awesome.
Went to UNH, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool.
But like, I love her so much. She's so great. Her story's awesome. But I don't know. The only Paralympic athlete I can think of is Tara's husband.
Yeah, Hunter Woodhall.
Yeah, so I'll
basically he's the only one I know too now.
Yeah, and the only reason why I know him is because of his wife.
That is true.
But I'll definitely tune in, because that's awesome that they have the Paralympics too. And I'm sure some of these stories are going to be like super gut wrenching, and like the comeback and all that. So I love a good feel good story. So.
Me too. Well, Tara, I love you so much. Thank you for joining me on this all over the place Olympic recap. And thank you for being one of the only ones who really watched it. I mean, I know that we have been sending the memes along, and those are plentiful and hilarious and awesome, but it just doesn't capture the true spirit of the Olympics like we watched on TV. So.
Yes. No, I'm so glad. I had like a handful of friends that were really into it, and there was like text messages and going back and forth. So it was nice to have somebody that could relate, because it's like, did you see this? And it's like, people are like, oh, I'm not watching that. But the people that did, I appreciate that. And it was great. And this was awesome. I loved the recap. I feel like it's giving me a little bit of a high, because I've been on the low the last couple of days because the Olympics are over, and I'm so sad.
It was like, what do I watch instead? But now I've got my replacement.
What the athletes are feeling.
Oh my God. And they have to wait
they train for 4 years. They get like, some of them only get 15 seconds to do their event, and then they got to train for another 4 years. So
well, hopefully world championships will pop up, and they'll have the next Olympic trials to look forward to. And I just hope everybody stays healthy and keeps working their asses off and gets to where they want to be.
Yes. Very proud of our country. We represented well. We did great.
Yes, we did.
For the few that were there and didn't do as well as they wanted to, they should still hold their heads high, because they are Olympians and they made it there, that is the coolest thing. You can still consider yourself an Olympian. Yeah, you don't need a medal. You made it to the Olympics. You're an Olympian, and there's not that many people that can say that. It's like us running marathons. Definitely. I'm not an ultra yet. I'm soft Erica now. Eric's fucking with stuff. Oh, Oh boy.
He's always watching. Okay.
Yep.
So
Soft Eric.
we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Like Eric said when he popped into the studio earlier, make sure to follow us on all the platforms. We've got Instagram. We've got the wonderful TikTok that's run by Pterodactyl over here.
It's doing amazing.
We've got YouTube that Eric's been really good about adding the new episodes to. Like our Andy Glaze episode just dropped, and we have Jay Paganelli from last week from Anchor Down. So we've got some awesome stuff for you guys to check out. You can also join our Patreon if you feel like supporting us because we love you so much. And hopefully you love us just as much. And what am I missing? I
don't forget to give us a review.
Yes, we love the reviews.
I love how you love how I said us.
Yes. Hey, you're part of the family. You definitely are.
You can't get rid of me now.
Yep. So, Tara, do you want to take my since I'm hosting, kind of? Do you want to take my catchphrase or do one of your own? Ooh, a twist.
I'll just probably stick with yours. Anything I have to say is probably not good. But thanks, guys, for joining us. We love you. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And don't forget to stretch.
Don't fear the code brown.
Yes.